Okay, we're going to look about a topic in probability called we're learning how to multiply individual probabilities. When do we do that? When do we multiply probabilities? Well, it works like this. We have to know this word about being independent. If two events A and B are independent, it means that one doesn't affect the probability of the other. So an example is, when you flip a coin and you get a head, okay, or a tail, doesn't matter, and then you flip a coin again. What happened on the first time does not affect what you happen on the second time. Now, sometimes you believe it, you're flipping a coin, you flip 5 heads in a row, and then you're going, oh, no, I know it can't be a head again. It's more likely to be a tail. Or maybe you think something else, but flipping coins are independent events. They really don't affect each other. So that's really important. So if you're picking marbles from a jar, and then you put the marble back in the jar, you shake it all up, then you pick another marble out. Well, what happened the first time doesn't affect the second time. When you roll a dice, if you're rolling 2 dice, you roll it once and then you roll it again. One doesn't affect the other. Picking cards, if you pick out a card and then you shuffle it and put it back, whatever happened the first time doesn't affect what happens the second time. And that's when we say that events are independent. Okay. Well, let's take a look at what that looks like. If you have 2 events that are independent and one doesn't affect the other, then the probability of those 2 things happening in a row, all you have to do of them happening together or consecutively, all you have to do is multiply those probabilities together. We use a thing called a probability tree that kind of helps us figure out problems like this. But let's just look at a basic example and we'll get an understanding of it. Okay. So here we have a coin is tossed and then a dice is rolled. A die is rolled. And those 2 things, okay, we just did them. Well, no matter what happens on the first, flipping the coin, that flipping the coin won't have any effect on what's going to happen when you roll the dice. Well, the probability, let's find out about this particular probability. What's the probability of getting a head and then getting the number 4? Okay, what are our chances of doing this experiment, flipping a coin, and then rolling the dice and having it be a head and then a 4? Well, all we have to do, the probability of a head is 1 chance in 2. There are 2 things that can happen, 1 out of 2. The probability of getting a 4, well, there's only 1 4 on the die, and there's 6 different numbers there, 1 and 6. All we do is multiply them together. And if you know how to multiply fractions, multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 6 is 12. The chance of getting a head and a 4 is 1 chance in 12, because those 2 those 2 outcomes are independent of each other. And that's why the product rule works. It works when they're independent. Okay, so I hope that explains a little bit about multiplying probabilities.